Stay with me, because in this video, we'll uncover Brazil's hidden plan to become the most powerful nation in South America. From trade routes and energy deals to military upgrades and regional influence, we'll explore how Brazil is positioning itself not just as a major player, but as the unchallenged leader of the continent. Before we uncover Brazil's secret plan to dominate South America, we need to understand what kind of country we're dealing with, because Brazil isn't just another player in the region, it's a giant. With over 8.5 million square kilometers of land, Brazil covers almost half of South America. It's the fifth largest country in the world by area, and with more than 212 million people, it has the largest population on the continent. Economically, Brazil is a powerhouse. As of 2024, its economy is valued at over $2.1 trillion US, making it the largest in Latin America. It exports everything from soybeans, beef, and iron ore to plains and oil. Its major trading partners include China, the US, and the European Union, but now it's also focusing on becoming a leader in South America itself. Now let's talk about geography, because this is where Brazil's advantage really begins. Brazil has over 7,400 kilometers of Atlantic coastline, with major ports like Santos, Paranaguá, and Rio de Janeiro shipping millions of tons of cargo each year. These ports are Brazil's gateway to the world, giving it direct access to global markets and allowing it to dominate South American export routes, especially in soybeans, beef, iron ore, coffee, and crude oil. Brazil is the world's largest exporter of soybeans and among the top in beef and iron, and much of it flows through these coastal arteries. But the real jewel is inside Brazil, and that is the Amazon forest. Brazil controls nearly 60% of the Amazon rainforest, which is one of the most resource-rich and ecologically important regions on Earth. The Amazon is often called the lungs of the Earth because it's full of fresh water, rich minerals, valuable trees, and thousands of plant and animal species. It also gives Brazil a powerful voice in global climate talks because protecting the Amazon matters to the whole world. And then there are the rivers. Brazil's interior is crisscrossed with enormous river systems, including the Amazon River, which is the largest by volume in the world. These rivers act like natural highways, helping Brazil move goods across vast regions without relying entirely on roads or railways. Most important of all, Brazil is almost surrounded by opportunity. It shares land borders with 10 out of the 12 South American countries, more than any other nation on the continent. This means Brazil is geographically connected to almost all of its neighbors, and that connection is powerful. It gives Brazil more chances to trade goods, share energy resources, and build regional partnerships. People, products, and ideas can move easily across borders, allowing Brazil to naturally become the center of activity and influence in South America. For many years, Brazil didn't take full advantage of its size, location, or power. It focused on solving problems at home, stayed out of conflicts, and rarely made big moves on the international stage. But that began to change around 2019. Brazil started to shift from a quiet economic giant into a country with big ambitions. It realized that it didn't need to use force to lead South America. It already had the tools: strong geography, a growing economy, and connections with nearly every neighbor. All it had to do was start using them. Instead of tanks and threats, Brazil chose roads, bridges, and trade deals. It began building connections, not just between its own cities, but between countries. These infrastructure projects weren't just about transportation, they were about power, and this is where Brazil's real plan begins. A quiet empire built with concrete, steel, and strategy. Let's take a look at how Brazil is building its quiet empire. Brazil understands a simple truth that you cannot lead a continent if you cannot connect it. That's why over the past 10 years, Brazil has been pouring money, materials, and manpower into a massive effort to reshape the way South America moves. One of the most important parts of this plan is the Bioceanic Corridor, a project that started back in 2015. This isn't just a road, it's a powerful symbol of strategy. The Bioceanic Corridor is a network of highways and rail lines that will stretch from Brazil's Atlantic coast all the way to Peru's Pacific ports, effectively linking the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans by land. But why is this so important? Basically, it gives Brazil a new kind of power. It can now control and influence trade worth billions of dollars that flows between Asia and South America. This trade used to go through the Panama Canal or rely heavily on shipping lanes, but now it could go right through Brazil. And it's not just about Brazil. Countries like Paraguay, Bolivia, and Argentina are already starting to rely on Brazil's roads and ports to get their goods to market. As they become more dependent, Brazil gains quiet leverage. Think of it like this: if you control the roads, you control the routes, and if you control the routes, you control the flow of money, goods, and influence. Brazil isn't just building roads, it's building influence, 1 kilometer at a time. But roads alone won't make it a leader. To really take control, Brazil needs more than just concrete and highways, and this is where the role of money comes in. While Brazil was busy building roads and ports, it was also doing something far less visible, but just as powerful. It started using money to build loyalty. Many of Brazil's neighbors, like Argentina, Paraguay, Venezuela, and Uruguay, have been facing serious economic troubles in recent years. Some are struggling with inflation, others are buried in debt or dealing with political instability. Brazil saw this not as a crisis, but as an opportunity. Since around 2018, Brazil has quietly stepped in with favorable loans, investment deals, and direct financial aid. It it has actively engaged in financial cooperation with its neighbors. Let's take the example of Argentina. These joint trade deals has strengthened the relationship between the two countries and made Argentina more open to aligning its policies with Brazil's interests. Brazil has done similar deals with Paraguay and Bolivia, helping them develop energy projects, agriculture, and infrastructure. These countries now see Brazil not just as a neighbor, but as a reliable partner. This isn't charity. Brazil isn't handing out money just to be nice. It's calculated diplomacy. It's simple. The more countries depend on Brazil's money, the more control Brazil